have even dated them had he told them they were dinosaur bones. Frozen dinosaur bones were found in Alaska. There's Answers in Genesis has a book that they sell called The Great Alaskan Dinosaur Adventure. AnswersInGenesis.org. You can order the book about finding frozen dinosaur bones. If they would have said they're dinosaur bones, they never would have carbon dated them because of the preconceived idea. Evolution is a great hindrance to thinking, to scientific advancement. Carbon dating is not how they date things. They did it with the geologic dating. One last topic. Time's up. Okay.
Easy with all those slides. I couldn't follow the argument. You looked at some of, they were going very fast. You looked at some of the sources, Reader's Digest, real good scientific source for these kind of data. Now, the problem with carbon dating is that as any other kind of dating or any other kind of scientific technique, has a certain amount of error, comes with a certain amount of error, and scientists are aware of that error, and they therefore factor it in whenever they estimate the age of something. The interesting thing about dating in general, not dating a man or a woman, but dating in the sense of dating rocks, is that there are several different independent ways of dating the same rock or material. And amazingly, they pretty much converge on the same results. There are, of course, plus or minus that amount of error, which always comes in any time you're doing empirical science. This is one of the things that is very difficult for creationists to explain. Why is it that dating things in a variety of different ways, using a variety of different methods, not just carbon dating, they always come out the same, and the oldest rocks come out to be billions of years old. You can't date the oldest rocks with carbon dating because carbon dating is valid only for fairly recent events. Carbon decays too rapidly, essentially, to do that.
Thank you. You may as well keep the mic. Dr. Bucci, why doesn't the theory of macroevolution contradict the second law of thermodynamics?
It does not. No physicist, not only no biologist, but no physicist has ever claimed that the second principle of thermodynamics contradicts evolution. It certainly does not. The second principle of thermodynamics simply says that in a closed system, left to itself, the amount of disorder, which is technically known as entropy, will increase. Right? The Earth and the biosphere is not a closed system. It is an open system because it receives both energy and material from outside, from the sun and from the rest of the solar system. So the second principle is not violated. Now, probably Mr. Amber, creationists will tell you, well, yeah, but energy by itself has never helped anybody. If you get zapped by lightning, which is energy, what happens to you? You don't evolve, you die. Yes, that's very cute. You accept that. It's got nothing to do with the matter at hand. The point is, the second principle of thermodynamics applies to systems that are not the living systems. Therefore, to say that the second principle of thermodynamics is proof against evolution is simply not understanding the second principle of thermodynamics. And by the way, let me make a final comment about not understanding and not studying. When someone doesn't understand something because he hasn't studied that something, it's not, that person is not dumb. That's not the definition of dumb by any dictionary that I know of. It's just the definition of a person who has invented that particular or studied that particular field. I'm extremely dumb in particle physics by that definition, simply because I haven't studied particle physics. I don't consider myself a dumb person. It's just that I haven't studied that topic.
Thank you.
All right. If we have time, I'll go back and show you every slide I gave on carbon dating. None of them were from Reader's Digest. So either you are misinformed or you're lying. Now, if you're being a skeptic, if you don't believe there's a God, it's okay for you to lie. I believe there's a God. I'm going to stand it for someday. I'll put it back up on screen. Reader's Digest? Oh, the carbon dating. I had there from the Science magazine. Look at that. Look at the second law of thermodynamics here. Finish on topic at a time. Okay, you assume that adding energy will overcome the second law of thermodynamics. They say the universe is a closed system, and adding energy is destructive. Folks, the universe is a closed system. Adding energy is destructive. The Japanese added lots of energy to Pearl Harbor, didn't organize a thing. We turned around and added lots of energy to Japan, and didn't organize a thing with the atomic bomb. Adding energy does not organize a thing. Adding energy to the sun adds energy to the earth. It destroys the roof on your house. It'll eventually destroy the house. It'll destroy the roof on your car. It'll destroy the paint job on your car. Sunlight is destructive to everything except chlorophyll. And chlorophyll is an incredibly complex design mechanism to utilize the sunlight. So, second law of thermodynamics does apply, and evolution violates that. And if we have time, that's why I think go point by point instead of these dumb rules. I'll be able to show you. Time is up. See?
You may as well keep the mic, though.
Pardon?
You may as well keep the mic.
Keep the mic, okay.
Next question's for you. Doesn't it take longer than 6,000 years to form a diamond?
Doesn't it take longer than 6,000 years to form a diamond? Superman does it in a few seconds. It either takes lots of time or lots of pressure. Most diamonds are found in what's called blue ground, which is in the neck of extinct volcanoes. The volcano puts an enormous amount of pressure out. Ask the folks who live near Mount St. Helens. Blows rocks the size of this building, several miles away. So I think probably diamonds were formed from coal near volcanoes. That's my theory on that. I don't know that anybody knows for sure how diamonds are formed. They're certainly carbon. Different crystal of carbon like graphite and other forms of carbon are found on Earth. So my theory would be probably the diamonds formed at the time of the flood as the fountains of the deep were broken up and the pressure was exerted from the volcanoes squirting magma through these various areas. I would be willing to discuss that and willing to study it. I don't know an answer. That's just my answer. It either takes lots of time or lots of pressure. I think lots of pressure would do it just as well. Okay?
Can I work with that Superman thing next time that we meet? This is amazing. This is the thing that is amazing about this kind of debates. Of course, you realize here that you're getting the short shrift by a long stretch. We're just finding things that do very rapidly. And no way to tell if we know what we're talking about or something. Obviously, at least one of us doesn't know what he's talking about. Now, geologists would not only claim that it's scared, at least in the for the formation of diamonds. But of course, we all know the geologists are a bunch of dumb people that just got a PhD in geology, and about 70-year-old would understand how diamonds are formed in 6,000 years. That's the message that we're getting tonight over and over. Next question.
Dr. Maglucci, where is the empirical evidence for a chemist or physicist producing a living being from a non-living being, i.e. spontaneous generation?
Right. Okay. Before I answer that, let me go back to this recurring theme that has been brought up several times of the format of the debate. We agreed to the format of the debate weeks ago. Mr. Darwin wanted to change the debate 5 minutes before we started. That is a little bit unfair. It's not exactly a fair tactic. That is why I said let's stick to the regional debate. Next time you want to go point by point, I'll be very happy to do that. Now, the question was about, the origin of life from non-life. As I said before, we don't have an answer to that. We don't know how life originated. We have some theories. We have some pretty good theories. We have scant empirical evidence, and there are a lot of people, bright people, that are actually spending a lot of time working on it. Does that mean that evolution is wrong? No, it does not. As I said before, evolution has nothing to do with the origin of life. It also doesn't mean that science is wrong. I mean, people have to get out of this idea, which unfortunately is inculcated in their minds since by high school teaching, that science is a body of knowledge that is absolutely complete, perfect. We know everything that has been done about the universe, and therefore we're just here to explain to you. Science is an ongoing dynamic process. We are learning things and we're trying to understand things as we go. As you asked a question like that about a century ago, for example, on how do plants reproduce, the answer would have been, I don't know, because about a century ago nobody knew about pollen and nodules. Okay, about a century later we do know. And you asked a question like this about 120 years ago or 115 years ago about what are genes, nobody would know even what you were talking about. Nobody knew anything about the hereditary mechanisms in the hereditary material. Today we know. So come back in 100 years and maybe I'll have an answer to the origin of life question. But I may not, so what? That is the nature of science. It's not about final answers. You find final answers only in books that you find in the National Enquirer magazine, but not in science.
All right, I solved the mystery. Science magazine,